Why is the Islamic finance and growth?
A number of factors. Of course, Islamic banking and finance remains a demand-driven phenomenon. Okay. But the growth is not entirely explained by the increase in demand. Islamic banking and finance is very much a supply-driven phenomenon as well. Now, with the increase in the number of products, Sharia-compliant products available in the market, demand for them has increased, or usage of these products has increased. Just imagine 20 years back there was no product, Islamic financial product available in UK. There was one, but a very, very insignificant one, hence there was no usage. Now we have a number of providers of Islamic financial services in UK. HSBC, Amana, Islamic Bank of Britain, we have 4 Islamic investment banks, and a number of other banks and financial institutions catering for the demand for Islamic financial services. This has contributed to the increase in the use of Islamic financial services, what is known as the growth in UK. This is one.
What is the growth? What was it, say, 5-10 years ago, and what is it now, and what do you see it to be in the future?
Estimated growth, annual growth in Islamic financial services in UK is about 15%, which is significantly less than the global growth rate. For 2008-2009, despite the crisis, guess what was the growth in Islamic financial services?
Let's ask our caller what the growth was.
It was, let me
Go on, I'll take the call.
It was 28.3%.
Whoa, that's a lot.
So in UK, if we go for 15% annual growth rate, this is almost half of the global growth rate in Islamic financial services.
Okay, and on that note, let's take the caller. Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Hello, assalamualaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I have 2 questions to ask. One
Yes.
question, to change normal mortgage, it's expiring soon, to Islamic mortgage, would that be very easy for me to do? That's the first thing I'd like to ask. And my second question is, my lease is up for renew soon, so does that mean the 10% cost I need to pay the day I bought it? So pay 10%, or current value they will charge me 10%, and overall whatever the owner wants on the property? That's my 2 questions, please.
Okay, if I can answer the 10% one on the lease, that is an approximate figure. It's what you decide and the landlord decides. But as a rough guess, it will be around 10%. But you can negotiate that down. Yeah? So you can negotiate that down. So it's a rough estimate. Is if you take the costs for renewing the lease, it'll be about 10%. For example, if the house has a 100-year lease and you want to increase it to 199 years lease, that's 100 years, he will, charge you, supposing the property is worth 1 million, he might say, okay, I want 100,000 for it. But then it's for you to negotiate. Now, if you have a house which leases, say, 60 years and left, and you want to increase it to 99 years, then you can negotiate that. This makes he will guesstimate 40,000. But you might say, well, no, I don't want to pay 40,000. I want to pay 20,000 or 25. That's all negotiable. So that's on the lease. Now, changing mortgages from a conventional to an Islamic mortgage, I'm not an expert on this. I'll ask Dr. Humayun Dar on that one. All depends on your circumstances and your income and what the value of the property is and how much you're looking for. Value of property, as you know, has gone down, so therefore the prices may not be the same as when you bought it. There again, you may have paid a lot of the mortgage off, in which case, there'll be, plenty of equity in it. But if the prices have gone down since you bought it and you haven't paid enough off, they may ask for a larger deposit. That's my understanding, but I'll ask that to Dr. Humayun Dar. What do you think, Dr. Humayun Dar? He's got an existing mortgage, wants to change it over to Islamic.
The model used in UK for Islamic mortgages allows conversion of a conventional mortgage into Islamic. Diminishing musharaka based Islamic mortgages cater for the conversion. Hence, a simple answer to your question is that this is possible in UK. There are certain models which would not allow conversion of conventional debt into Islamic. For example, in the early 90s, 93, 94, United Bank of Kuwait used to offer an Islamic mortgage which was based on murabaha. Murabaha doesn't allow conversion of conventional debt into Islamic debt. But the existing mortgages based on musharaka, based on ijara, they allow the conversion of conventional mortgages into Islamic.
But when he says he wants to convert it, all he has to do is pay them off. So he has to go to an Islamic bank and say, look, I have a mortgage. Can you finance this for me? So it's not a conversion. You'd have to reapply almost again. That would be the best way, to reapply to an Islamic bank for a mortgage. Well,
Yes.
I keep saying the word
They
mortgage.
Will effectively buy the
They will
property.
buy the property, pay you off the
That's it.
existing lender,
Yeah, that's
and then you will be now doing it the legal way.
To the property.
That's
So-
right. But this is what we know.
Yeah.
We say, well, the person is converting from conventional user of financial services into Islamic.
Right.
Conversion is a buzzword in Islam.
Uh-huh.
If a person converts into Islam, we are very happy. If
Reverts back.
that's right. If a user of conventional financial services comes to Islamic financial services, we say the person is converting in his financial behavior.
So what we will say now, that people should revert back, not convert, revert back to Islamic. So I think we should set a new standard and a new buzzword, revert back to finance, Islamic finance.
That is probably better. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
a quick question,
Yeah.
and I think it would actually interest the viewers as well.
Yeah.
What happens in the worst case scenario if things go completely wrong, whether it's in business terms or financial side for a mortgage, or for example, let's take the example that you said about the sugarcane plant. The gentleman, he buys the plant, or the bank buys the plant for him for £1 million, and they're going to sell it to him by installments for 1.3 million. What happens in like 5 years? He defaults. What would happen? Would all his business go and his assets be taken away by the bank? Or?
Islamic finance, or Islam, allows for asking for collateral. Right? If the bank sells something on credit to a customer, whether it is a person or a business, if the customer defaults, then the bank will have access to the collateral. Okay.
Right.
This is why Islamic banks, okay, they are very particular about the quality of collateral. Okay. If the debt is 1.3 million, the quality of collateral should be high enough to cover the debt payable to the bank in case of a default. So collateral is something which is acceptable in Islam as well. Hence, the bank would have recourse to the collateral.
Right.
In case a collateral wasn't used, then this default case would be taken care of in a court of justice, right? And the court would decide. In many cases, the contracts themselves, okay, they talk about default. If default occurs, a procedure which is used in the law of land, that will become applicable.
Right, and how does that differ with a conventional loan? If you were to borrow money from the bank, un-Islamic way, and you default, what would happen?
Let's answer that after calls. I've
Okay,
been
that's
told we've
fine.
got a lot of callers.
Okay.
So hold that thought. Sorry to keep you waiting, callers. Assalamu alaikum. Who have we got online?
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa
I
assalam.
want to ask you
Yes.
a question on Islamic mortgage.
Islamic
Let's say,
mortgage, yes.
what are the, like with conventional mortgage, you have uncertainty. The interest rate might go up, therefore your repayment will change. Can you give some kind of clarification? What's the uncertainty,
Okay.
if any, with Islamic mortgage? Are they going to change the repayment halfway, 6 months down the line, year down the line? Because obviously it's a long-term aspect. What are the uncertainty of
Okay.
in 2 years'
So
time?
you're asking your monthly payments, will they go up and down in a few years' time if you go to revert back to an Islamic mortgage? That's one question. Let's take the next caller and hold that thought. Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Assalamu alaikum. I couldn't get through to the
Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Just about, yes, sir. Carry on.
Oh, hello. Am I through to the studio?
No, you're live on air.
Oh, sorry. I called earlier. I couldn't get through. My question to Dr. Dar is, I've got two questions.